Good morning, everyone. صباح الخير أو صباح البرد. My name is Dina Okasha and I'm back with my educational videos. And this video is about probability again. And this is part 3 of probability. Now, as I told you before, probability للأسف من الدروس الطويلة. أو يعني أنا بحب زي ما قلت لكم قبل كده في الفيديوهات بتاعتي إن أنا دايما أشرحها بكل تفاصيلها علشان whenever you want to study on your own, whenever you want to revise, you have a proper reference to go to. Now, today we're going to discuss the third part of probability, which is probability without replacement. Now, as we said, it is very important to understand the vocabulary words related to probability. ويا ريت يا جماعة يعني اللي مثلا عايز يذاكر probability, please يعني watch the videos in order يعني part 1, part 2, part 3 so that you know where are we عشان بس ما حدش يتوه. Now today we're going to discuss the without replacement questions, and we're going to understand first what is meant by the word without replacement. I'm going to show you in the notes. Now let's just take a box, and inside this box I'm going to have 3 black balls, as you can see, and I'm going to have 4 green. طبعا يا جماعة, we know that خلاص we discussed before in the previous video that the word frequency represents the number of values or the total number of values. So the frequency of this box is equal to 7. So if I ask you about the probability of the black, your answer will definitely be, لو أنا جيت قلت لكم the probability of the black is going to be 3/7 and the probability of the green is going to be 4/7. Now, if we're going to discuss the outcomes of this question, لو أنا جيت قلت لكم مثلا دينا اللي هو أنا is going to take 2 items, and as we discussed earlier before in the previous video, one at a time. Okay, يعني I'm going to take an item, use it, and then take another item. Now, in the previous video, if you remember, قلنا إيه? I'm going to take 2 items, one at a time. I will take it, I will use it, I will give it back, and then I will take another item. This video بقى قررت ان انا اكون متمردة. لا, انا مش هاخد الحاجة وارجعها. انا هاخد الحاجة and I will not give it back. انا مدرسة بقى, من حقي اعمل اللي انا عايزاه. صح ولا ايه؟ تمام. So in this video I will take an item, I will use it, and I will not give it back, and then I will come to take another item. تمام. طبعا يا جماعة بقى عايزين نفهم بيحصل ايه في المسائل اللي هي without replacement. What happens in these sort of questions. وزي ما كنا قلنا قبل كده في الفيديو اللي فات انه whenever you write the probabilities, you always write it before you take the action. So let's assume دلوقتي انا اهو دينا بشعري, اوكي, وواقفة قدام البوكس وقاعدة بفكر. Now we know the items خلاص ان هما black, عملناها بقى الحصة اللي فاتت, اللي هو black and green, green and black, black and black, green and green. We discussed all the outcomes in the previous video. أنا اللي يفرق معايا دلوقتي يعني ايه without replacement and what happens in these sort of questions. Now, as we said, I'm going to take 2 items, one at a time. So this is the first item and this is the second item. تعالوا الأول نشوف total frequency. What happens to the total frequency of the box. ركزوا معايا في الحتة دي عشان الحتة دي مهمة جدا, لأنه المسائل اللي هي without replacement بيحصل فيها حاجتين مهمين جدا جدا جدا. Okay, so let's see. Now we're going to discuss what happens to the total frequency. Now the total frequency, يا للخيبة فين القلم. Now the total frequency in this question is equal to 7. And as we said, we always write the probability before I take the item. طيب احنا مركزين على التوتال frequency بس. انا دلوقتي اهو واقفه قدام البوكس وقاعده بفكر, انا هاخد انهي لون من ال7 دول. So initially the total frequency is equal to 7, as you can see. Okay, so I took an item. Let's assume I took the green. مش عايزة بقى ايه نغلس, مش عارفة الاستيكة مالها شكلها كبيرة كده, فاحنا ممكن نصغرها شوية ولا خلاص نشطب عليها. So again, let's assume I took the green. اهو. وجيت دلوقتي عايزة آخد the second item. يبقى so at first I was just thinking I have a total of 7. اوكي. وبعد أخدت إيه؟ يبقى أنا قصادي أصلا كان في 7. So I took one regardless its color. And then رحت قعدت اتمشيت. I did whatever. وبعد كده قمت راجعة تاني هنا. وقفت قصاد البوكس. And I was thinking again, which color will I take? So let's see now. How many items do I have in total? What happened to the total frequency? As you can see, now I only have 6 items to choose from. I only have 6 items to choose from. So for the first choice, I had the total complete بالنسبة لي. As we said, I took an item, regardless its color. ورحت قعدت اتمشى في الجنينة. وبعد كده رجعت عشان اخد من الباقي. So for my second choice, as you can see, I have 6 items only. So what happened to the frequency? The total frequency? The total frequency decreased by 1. اللي هو the denominator of the probability. مش هو ده denominator بتاعي. So the total frequency decreased by 1. As you can see, the total frequency decreased by 1. So in the without replacement questions, في حاجة أساسية بتحصل اللي هي denominator بتاع الفراكشن بتاعي بيقل بواحد. ودي حاجة أساسية لازم تحصل عندي في المسائل بتاعة without replacement. Okay? So let's assume أنا بس همسح ده كده هنا. Let's assume I'm going to explain actually this again to tell you. لأن حد يقول لي طب يا مس ما أنتي أخدتي الجرين. طب لو أنا أخدت البلاك will I get the same? Let's see. This is the box أهو بتاعي. والbox قلنا inside the box we have 3 black and we have 4 green. Okay? So initially, as you can see, the frequency is equal to 7. Now, I am going to take 2 items, one at a time. Okay? بس I will not give it back. أنا قلت مش هرجع الأيتم الأولاني، أنا أرجعه ليه؟ The initial frequency, as you can see, is equal to 7. أنا واقفة أهو قدام البوكس بتاعي وقاعدة بفكر أنا هاخد إيه من البوكس اللي مليان 7 ده. So my first choice, I have my total frequency كاملة مكملة. عندي السبعة بتوعي أهو كاملين. أوكي؟ أنا المرة دي I decided to take black. I decided to take black. So I took the black هنا أهو in my hand. أخدت البلاك في إيدي. وبعد كده قمت رايحة دخلت المطبخ عملت كوباية الشاي بلبن الشهيرة بتاعتي. أوكي؟ وقمت راجعة تاني هنا. بصوا حتى كده على إيدي. راجعة من غير البلاك. من غير دي. So, and I decided now to take my second item. So, what will happen now? أنا قدامي بقى كام item زي ما انتم شايفين قدامي 6 items. So, in the without replacement questions, 2 things happen. The first thing that happens is that the denominator decreases by 1. لأنه زي ما بقالكم يا جماعة أنا بتسأل السؤال ده. طب يا مس أنت مش قلتي بتاخدي 2 items؟ لا أنا قلت إن أنا باخد 2 items بس مش باخدهم مع بعض. باخدهم 1 item at a time. 1 item at a time. طيب let's assume I decided to take a third item. قررت إن أنا آخد item كمان أهو. فأنا مثلا دلوقتي قمت واخدة الجرين أهو. أخدت الجرين بتاعي أهو في إيدي حطيته أهو. وبعد كده نفس الكلام عملت إيه؟ رحت قعدت عملت whatever أتكلم في التليفون ورجعت عشان آخد one more item. So now see what happens. It decreases by 1. Okay? And this is the first thing that I want you to understand in without replacement questions, the denominator decreases by 1. The denominator decreases by 1. طيب, let's بقى continue the story and see بقى what happens to my numerator. What happens to my numerator? Okay, now let's again erase this again and see بقى دلوقتي what happens to the numerator. okay. طيب أنا عندي البوكس أهو زي ما هو بتاعي البوكس and we have 3 black. طبعا يا جماعة الدرس ده لما بيتشرح لايف بيبقى أحسن بكتير لأنه بقعد بوريهم. and I have 4 green. Now let's see. لأن احنا اتفقنا إنه the probability rule is the number of outcomes divided by the total frequency. So let's see what happens now. Now, let's assume I'm going to take 2 black colors. I'm going to take 2 black colors, as you can see. Now, زي ما اتفقنا, for my first choice, I have the box complete, as you can see, and the number of black, and the total frequency is 7. So if I decide to choose black, أنا عندي الثلاثة black أهو كاملين. So the probability of the black is going to be 3/7. Okay? عملت أخدت البلاك حطيتها في إيدي هنا أهو. I took my black and I removed it from here. وزي ما اتفقنا بقى خلاص أنا I will not give back this black. أخدتها أهو. So now after I took it زي ما اتفقنا رحت قعدت اتكلمت في التليفون وجيت وقفت هنا أهو with no black in my hand. So what happens to the total? As you can see, زي ما قلنا the total becomes 6. Now let's بقى see. If I decide to take black again, how many black do I have? أنا عندي 2 black بقى دلوقتي. But the number of black decreased by 1 as well. ليه? Because I took the same color. So what happens in without replacement questions? In without replacement questions, 2 things happen. The first thing is that your denominator decreases by 1 وقلنا دي حاجة أساسية, and the numerator decreases by 1 if I am taking the same item. If I am taking the same item. Type, let's do the story if I'm going to select green. طبعا we're going to solve questions يا جماعة related to this part. Okay. فأنا بس بحاول أفهمكم بس إيه اللي بيحصل في المسائل اللي زي دي and then you'll pick it up يعني هما مش صعبين. Okay, so this is my box. I have 3 black and I have my 4 green. Let's assume I have decided in this outcome or in this scenario أنا مش عايزة black و black I'm going to take green and green. Now خلاص بقى to cut the story short, the first choice is always the original probability. The first choice is always the original probability. I'm standing here قاعدة بتفرج على my amazing box and I am thinking to myself green أنا عايزة الأخضر فأنا بص أهو. So how many options do I have from the green? 4. And what is the probability of the green? 4/7. Okay, طبعا خلاص we know that and mean times from the previous video. So I decided to take green. So I took green رحت اديتها لابن اختي وبعد كده بعد ما اديتها له رجعت وقفت هنا اهو on the other side of the box and then I decided to take another green. Now let's look at the box. Now as we said كده my denominator will decrease by 1 as you can see, so it becomes 6. Now what happens to the number of green? I had initially 4 green. Since I took the same color, so what happened to my originally 4 green? نقصوا بقوا كام؟ بقوا 3 green. اهو by proof اهو قدامنا يعني الكلام مفيش حاجة واختلفت. طيب what if I decide يبقى زي ما اتفقنا بقى يا جماعة في المسائل اللي هي without replacement 2 things happen. The first thing is the denominator decreases by 1 and this is something that must happen, and the numerator decreases by 1 if I am taking the same item. طيب what if فين الألوان تعالى نعمل البوكس تاني. What if تعالى يا ابني الأسود. What if I am taking different items? Will the denominator decrease as well? خلاص. So let's do the story again. I'm standing here. Initially, let's assume I'm going to take black and green. Or green and black, يعني مش هتفرق. And I'm just going to do one example. Okay, I'm going to take black. So as we said, the first choice is always the original probability. So what is the original black, or what is the original probability of the black? It's 3/7. I took the black. خلاص, I took it. and I decided to throw it away. وحشة البلاك مش عجباني رميتها في الزبالة. Okay, and then I went to speak on the phone and tell my friend بصي أنا خدت black بس رميتها. And then I went back to the other side of the box to pick green. Now look at the box. Look at the box. كده the denominator of the total frequency decreased by 1. But the question is, did the number of green change? No, the number of green did not change, which is the same. So please pay attention whenever you're solving without replacement questions. إنه I decrease the denominator, which is something that must happen, and I decrease the numerator if I am taking same item. Now here in this question, I originally took away a black. So what happened to the number of green? Nothing. The number of green remained the same. So these are the without replacement questions. Now we're going to solve questions, tree diagrams related to without replacement. So now I'm going to share the notes. If you have my notes, please use them. Now let's go to the table, this vocabulary table over here, لأنه في حاجات برضو احنا محتاجين لسه نعملها. Now we did the with replacement. Today we're going to do the without replacement questions. And as you can see, this is in your notes, page number 272. In the without replacement questions, two things happen. The denominator decreases by 1, حتى if you wish to write next to this, وإنه دي حاجة أساسية بتحصل. And the numerator decreases by 1 if I am taking the same item. If I am taking the same item. Now, how do I know that this is a without replacement questions? أعرف منين إن هي without replacement? It will either say in the question, يعني I will either be given a hint in the question that says that this is without replacement, or, and this is very important, if the examiner did not say that the item was put back, يبقى this is without replacement. يعني لو الexaminer ما قاليش إن أنا خدت الحاجة ورجعتها تبقى دي without replacement. So I will either be given a hint or it will not be mentioned. If the item was taken from the box and the examiner did not say it's placed back, يبقى it's without replacement. Okay? احنا from this table, I guess, ناقص لنا independent questions, which is not that bad. يعني I guess I'll do a separate video for that. And then we have the at least questions and of course the algebra questions. So this is why I'm telling you probability is a big topic. So now let's go to the notes and go to, where is it? This page over here, which is page number 277. Page number 277. And please, يا جماعة, remember, whenever you're dealing with probability questions, as I said in the previous video, classify, and write the probabilities of this question to create your scenario. And since until now يا جماعة we're dealing with 3 questions لأنه في مسائل ما تبقاش فيها 3. And then the final step is change to numbers. And please remember, don't simplify till the very end. Especially بقى in these sort of questions اللي هي without replacement questions. And always remember, whenever you're solving probability questions, كأنها قصة. If you're telling yourself a story, otherwise you will not make it through some probability questions. Let's see بقى هنا the story of Mr. Nick. Nick has 10 ties in the back. Nick عنده 10 في الباك. Okay? هو واقف الصبح وعايز يروح الشغل. 6 of the ties are red and 4 are black. So our tree, if you remember, as we explained in the previous class, our tree in this question contains 2 branches. One of the branches is red and the other is black. Now let's write the probabilities immediately. Here, this 10 is the total frequency given in the question. 6 are red, so the probability of the red is 6 over 10. And of course, the black will be 4 over 10. وطبعا, as we said in the previous video, the sum of the branches of any tree must be equal to 1. Please, no simplifying يا جماعة بأكد. No simplifying. Okay? So let's see what happens now. Actually, I'm going to do this يعني in a bit in details شوية معلش مش غلط. Okay, احنا قلنا عندنا 6 red و how many black? 4 black. So 1, 2, 3, 4 black and 6 red. مفيش مشكلة خالص يا جماعة ان الفيديو، انا بالنسبة لي ما عنديش مشكلة ان الفيديو يبقى طويل شوية، المهم ان انتوا تبقوا فاهمين كويس. So these are the ties اهو inside the bag and Nick واقف الصبح وقاعد بيفكر. اوكي نيك واقف قدام المراية. Let's assume this is mirror number 1. Mirror 1. And let's assume on the other side this is mirror number 2. هو عنده بقى dressing عالمية. نيك واقف هنا اهو قدام المراية. اوكي now this is، هو نيك برضو شعره طويل، ايه اللي انا عملته ده؟ ماشي، خلينا نعمل نيك سبايك. نعمل نيك سبايك اهو، نيك سبايكي. فنيك قاعد بيفكر، هو عايز يروح الشغل وقاعد بيفكر دلوقتي اهو. So this is his first choice. So Nick look at the ties and look at the colors. مش حاسه الالوان دي بتفكرني بعلم مصر. Okay. So for the first tie اهو هو باصص اهو على الدولاب، الدولاب كامل. So for the first tie, please remember that your probabilities are always the original probabilities. هو قاعد اهو، this is the first tie اهو، واقف قدام المراية وقاعد بيتفرج. تمام؟ So for the first choice, he has the ties complete. The red is 6/10 and the black is 4/10. And as we said يا جماعة, this is a tree. This is one tree. And the sum of the branches of the tree must be equal to 1. وتاني بس بفكركم في حاجة كنت قلتها الفيديو اللي فات، إنه the sum of the probabilities must be equal to 1. ف 4 على 10 plus 6 على 10 is 1. أو لو فكرنا فيها بطريقة ثانية 10 minus 6 بكام؟ ب 4 على طول. Okay. So let's assume now Nick took a red tie and put it on. He took a red tie and put it on. Okay. طيب لبسها. وبعد كده بص في المراية ما عجبتوش، قال لا لا ايه القرف ده، انا مش عايز كده. وجي راح عند mirror number 2 بالسبايك بتاعه، راح عند mirror number 2. Now بقى when he's looking, how many outcomes does he have? He has 9. So for the second tie، لان هو هنا قال لي اهو Nick takes 2 ties from the bag without replacement. طبعا هو مش في يعني في مسائل ما بيقولهاش without replacement كده صراحة، بيبقى في زي ما اتفقنا keywords بس عشان لسه في الأول. So أهو Nick is at mirror number 2 now. He has a total of 9. So for the second choice, he has a total of 9. So what happens for the second choice in without replacement questions? زي ما قلنا, the denominator decreases by 1, and this is something that must happen regardless the color that he takes. Now we need to know how many red and how many black. Let's assume he is going to choose red again. he chose, خدوا بالكم, he chose red in the first time. And let's assume he's going to choose red in the second time. Now let's look back. How many red, هو قاعد باصص اهو. How many red does he have now? He has 5 red. 5. And what happens to the black? Absolutely nothing. The number of the black remains the same. وتاني يا جماعة بأكد. أنا I write the probability before I take the action. Before, قبل ما اختار الجرافات اللي انا هلبسها. هو لسه دلوقتي قاعد باصص عليهم وبيفكر. So how many red does he have? 5. طيب هل احنا في الامتحان هنقعد نعمل كده ونرسم ولا انا بس علشان بشرح؟ لا هو طبعا انا بس علشان بشرح. طيب how do I solve these questions and how do I know يعني بشورت كات كده سريعة what to decrease. Now as we said خلاص كده we're going to decrease the denominator by 1. Now let's use highlighters. I took red in the first choice and I took red in the second choice. So here, as you can see, I am taking same item. So if I am taking the same item, قلنا what happens to the numerator? The numerator decreases by 1. فال6 دي بقت 5. And the number of black is 4 زي ما هو. أو لو عايزين تفكروا فيها بطريقة تانية 9 minus 5 كام؟ 4. لأنه زي ما كنا قلنا من شوية the sum of the branches of the tree must be equal to كام؟ must be equal to 1. يعني لو جينا عملنا الشجر بتاعنا أهو دي شجرة السم بتاعها 1. أوكي؟ ودي شجرة تانية السم بتاعها 1 ودي شجرة ثالثة السم خلينا نقول another color السم بتاعها برضو لازم يكون كام؟ السم بتاعها لازم يكون 1. Now the question is these trees are they in the same garden? Actually yes they are. لأن أنا I'm using the same probabilities لأن إحنا بعد كده هنشرح مسائل اسمها independent تبقى أرقام ملهاش دعوة ببعض. طبعا let's look at the outcomes. So he will take بقى red and red as discussed بقى خلاص we know the outcomes from the previous video. So he will either choose red and red or he will choose red and black. تمام. Now let's look بقى هنا بقى what happens. Let's assume again أهو let's بقى وكل مرة يا جماعة we repeat the story from the beginning. كأن إيه كان في فيلم كده إنه إيه ساعة بتعيد نفسها من الأول as if he's repeating من الأول كل شوية he's repeating من الأول. فأنا مثلا دلوقتي نيك أهو من الأول صحيت من النوم I woke up and I am standing with my spiky hair. I am standing in front of my mirror and I am deciding what color will I wear and what will be my first choice. So let's assume أنا دلوقتي بفكر black. Let's assume I am thinking black. فأنا شايفة أهو قدامي. How many black do I have? 4/10. So as we said earlier, the first option is always the original probability. Type. So أنا I took black for my first option. أخدته ولبسته. أهو هنا. وقاعد باصص على نفسي في المراية. لقيت إيه النكد ده؟ طب لا أنا مش عجباني البلاك دي. So I changed my mind. I changed my mind and I went back to mirror 2. أهو. I went to mirror 2. وخدوا بالكم يا جماعة مثلا هو راح يعني مثلا هو أخد التشويس الأولاني راح شرب كوباية شاي مثلا وبعد كده رجع علشان يقرر. So now let's look بقى. أنا هنا واقف بقى at mirror 2 and now I am thinking, you know what? I will go black again. So let's see what happened to the number of black 3. طيب the red remained the same. طب يا مس أنا في الامتحان هقعد أرسم كده وأعمل mirror 1 و mirror 2 والكلام ده كله? Definitely not. Now as we said, for the second choice in without replacement questions, the denominator decreases by 1. How will you know that you decrease up as well? Highlight the same item. I took, let me back erase this and do it all over again. Okay, Anna, the first choice was black. So originally I had 4 black. The second choice is black again. So decrease the 4 by 1, it becomes 3 immediately. And لو مش عايزين توجعوا دماغكم بعدد الred 9 minus 3 6 immediately. لأنه as we said the sum of the tree must be equal to 1. The sum of the tree must be equal to 1. Guys, I'm trying to explain this يعني هنا although as I told you live it's so different. Now let's look back again at the outcomes. So the outcomes are زي بقى اللي عملناهم قبل كده. هنا the outcomes are black and red وهنا the outcomes are black and black. And of course, if you remember, between the outcomes, we always use or. And then we will use the same approach as we did in video of part 2. هنا بقى بيقول لي calculate the probability that both are black. Remember, please to write the scenario أرجوكوا علشان word problems. Write the scenario. Both is always translated into first and second. First and second. Both is translated into first and second. Both are black. يعني إيه both are black? يعني he decided that he will take black in the first choice and he will take black in the second choice. طبعا the 3 questions are super easy. Why? Because the numbers are there. They are already there in your tree. فأنا خلاص I can get the numbers from the tree. طيب where are the branches of black and black? Here we go. Black and black. So the first black, as you can see, is 4/10. And then as we said, you write the scenario first, and then after you write the scenario, you change to probabilities. The first black is 4/10. طبعا and يعني times. The second black is 3/9. And then I just do it on the calculator, 12/90. Now, if you wish to do the simplest form, مفيش ما يمنع خالص. And actually, if you keep it like this in the exam برضو, it will be considered as a correct answer. So 12 divide 90 فدي هتبقى 2 over 15. وعايزة أقول حاجة بس يا جماعة related sometimes students solve on their own in their past papers and check their answer from the marking scheme. Sometimes the marking scheme gives the answers before simplifying. Don't worry about that. So this is the first question, which is question BI. هنا بقى بيقول لي calculate the probability that both ties are different colors. Both ties are different colors. And again يا جماعة احنا we're solving from the tree diagram so far. مفيش ما يمنع خالص till we master اللي بيسموها ايه دي probability كويس قوي. So let's see where are the options in which we have different colors. So we have red and black. This is one option. And then we have black and red. This is another option. So these two highlighted are my outcomes, my options. So again, both يعني first and second. Immediately, both is translated into first and second. Okay, the first outcome is red and black. And the second outcome, as you can see, is black and red. And of course, as we explained last class, between them it is or. So I have two options, means I have two brackets separated by addition. Red and black, black and red. أهو red and black, black and red. معلش هناخدها من الtree diagram مفيش أي مشكلة. Okay, red and black. So the first red is 6 over 10 and the second black is 4 over 9. تمام؟ طيب, and then here black and red. هنمشي بقى كده black and red. The first black is 4 over 10 and the red is 6 over 9. And then I place it on the calculator. Okay, أهو 24 over 90 أنا 6 أنا بعملها بس على طول plus 24 over 90. And then I will get the answer, which is 8 over 15. Now, 8 over 15. One thing I'm going to say in question II is that, Miss, can we use the shortcut since we changed order? Can we use the shortcut of 2 times red and black? يعني can I choose one outcome and just double it because the order changes? Yes, I can in these sort of questions. لأنه as we said, we have the same fractions. We don't do this في الindependent اللي هي المسائل أرقامها ملهاش دعوة ببعض. But as we said earlier in this question, إنه المسألة دي التري بتاعتهم كلهم في نفس الحديقة. Okay, so actually let's do it now. If I take مثلا one of this and double it, أهو 6 على 10 multiplied by 4 over 9 and double it. Okay, you will see حتى I'm going to put it on the calculator برضو عشان أنا شخصيا أتأكد. 6 over 10 multiplied by 4 over 9. Yes, I will get the same answer. And again, why am I allowed to do this shortcut? I'm allowed to use this shortcut because this is not an independent questions. The numbers are all 6 over 10, 4 over 10. يعني والناينات يعني قصدي same probabilities مع ان احنا بننقص فوق وتحت. طيب, what if يا ريت بقى نركز بقى هنا كده. I want to ignore the fact that I have a tree and I want to start بقى solving questions without the tree diagram. خلاص, we don't need بقى to depend on the tree anymore. لأنه probability questions في الامتحان بتيجي سؤالين أو 3 كمان. Let's see بقى how can I approach these questions without looking at the tree. Now first write your scenario and write the probabilities aside. Now we know that the black كام؟ 4 على 10. We know that the black is 4 over 10. And of course, the red will be, again, 10 minus 4, 6 over 10. وقلنا no simplifying. After you write the scenario over here, remember always that the first choice is always the original. So what is the original black? 4 over 10. And we know that and means multiplication. Now, I know that this question is without replacement. So for the second item, I know for a fact that I will decrease the denominator by 1. But 10 minus 1 becomes كام هنا على طول 9. And then I check for the second item, البلاك. Am I taking same color? ولا I'm taking different color? I am taking same, so this 4 will decrease by 1 again. and then طبعا I put it on the calculator and I get whatever. طيب, let's see here. What if I have more than one option? The first, as we said, is always the original probability. Okay? And the second, since I already know that this is a without replacement questions, only two things happen. Denominator decreases by 1. The numerator decreases by 1 if I'm taking same item. Okay. أهو. So red and black, black and red, times. خلاص, we know about that for now. لأنه زي ما بقول لكم يا جماعة, please, if you're going to study probability videos, you have to do it in order. Part 1, part 2, part 3. The first is the original. The original red is 6/10. أنا حتى I'm going to highlight with the same colors عشان تبقوا فاهمين. This is the first. So the first is always the original probability. فهنا the original red is 6/10. The original black is 4/10. The second is اللي هو without replacement. So for the second اللي هو I'm going to highlight it with blue. يعني this is the second أهو كده. What happens with the second? خلاص, أنا I already know that with the second, the denominator decreases by 1. The denominator decreases by 1. And then I see, am I taking same item ولا different item? لا, هنا I am taking different item. فما جيش جنب ده بقى خالص. ما جيش جنبيه. Okay? Now, what is the original black? 4. What is the original red? 6. أو حتى لو عايزين نفكر فيها بطريقة تانية, 10 minus 6, 4. 10 minus 4, 6. And then on the calculator, you get whatever answer. Now let's go to classified part 2 and work on more questions related to tree diagram without replacement questions. Okay. And then we'll see what happens here. Okay. Yeah. This is in your classified part 2. وطبعا there are still more videos يا جماعة. We still have the independent video. And then after the independent video, we have بقى the word problems and the algebraic problems. This is classified part 2, page number 195. This is classified part 2, page number 195. Now we're going to solve from the tree, and we're going to see how do I solve it if I'm going to just ignore that the tree exists. أول حاجة, as we said بقى خلاص, don't classify the question, write your probabilities, write the scenarios, don't simplify to the very end. And tell yourself the probability questions as if you're saying a story. هنا بيقول لي there are 52 cards in a pack. يعني دي مسألة كوتشينة. الكوتشينة ممكن تتقسم colors, ممكن تتقسم numbers, ممكن تتقسم pictures. Now in this question over here, as you can see, the examiner classified the pack of cards into pictures and numbers. So immediately from here, write the probabilities. The probability of the picture, the probability of the number. طبعا the 52 is the total frequency لأنه الكوتشينة فيها 52 كارت. طيب what if this 52 wasn't there? يبقى أنا I add these. The picture probability is 12/52 and the number cards are 40/52. And again, don't simplify. No need. Please, no simplifying. Melina takes at random a card from the back. She keeps the card, and this is what I said about without replacement questions. إن هو sometimes you are given hints. مش هيقول لي صراحة without replacement. She keeps the card, and then she takes a second card from the remainder of the pack. يعني see, the examiner gave you 2 words that indicate that this is a without replacement question. This is a without replacement question. So how did I know that this is a without replacement question? It says she keeps the card and remainder. طبعا automatically بقى when you're dealing with exams خلاص بقى احنا عايزين برضو time management. Without replacement questions, I know that the denominator decreases by 1, and this is something that must happen for the second choice. And the numerator decreases by 1 if I am taking same item. If I am taking same item, okay? وبليز يا جماعة remember, ميلينا مش بتاخد الكارتين مع بعض مرة واحدة. هي قدامها علبة الكوتشينة اهي، كوتشينة. قدامها علبة الكوتشينة كاملة فيها 52 cards. هي واقفة بشعرها الطويل هنا أهو، لسه هتاخد كارت، هتاخد the first card. So when she still is thinking which card to choose, she has 52 in total. 52 in total. لأنه دايما يا جماعة we write the probability before I take the action. أنا لسه هاخد من الكوتشينة. طبعا the picture card is 12 over 52. And then, as we said, the tree, you write the probabilities, okay? And the number card is 40 over 52. Now, since all of these numbers, or since this question is discussing one pack of cards, يبقى all of these trees are in the same garden. يبقى من حقنا نعمل حتة الشورت كات اللي عملناها في المسألة بتاعت نيك. Okay? So, ميلينا أهي واقفة لسه بتتفرج على الكوتشينة. أخدت كارد أيا كان شكله, picture or number. She took a card. And then she went somewhere else بقى we don't know where. And she راحت اتمشت وعملت والجو راحت اشترت الخضار ومش عارفة ايه وكذا 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 وكذا. And then she came back to take another. She came back to take a second. So she took one already. فالtotal طبعا became كام؟ 51. So for the second card, the total immediately decreases by 1. Okay? Now, how do I know will I decrease up or down? Highlight the same item. She took picture at first and picture at second. So picture and picture. So what happens to the total of the picture بقى the number of pictures يعني ال 12 دي تبقى كام؟ 11. Okay? The number card remains the same. So either you take the 40 from the first choice or you can just subtract these two. 51 minus 11 which is 40 immediately. تمام؟ يبقى احنا كده we finished the first part. امسح بس الدوشة دي كلها. Okay? طيب let's see. يبقى أنا هنا بس I'm just going to keep these highlighters هنا over here to show you how do I decrease up. Now let's see بقى هنا she took a number card and a number card. Okay? So highlight the item that is taken twice. Now initially I had 40 number cards. Now I have taken one of them. So what happens to the 40? When I decide to take a second number card, this 40 decreases by 1. It becomes 39. How do I find the number of pictures? Either I take it from the original or I subtract these two. 51 minus 39. على طول and I will get the 12. And now you have your tree complete. اهو خلاص. ونمسح بقى دلوقتي بقى في الامتحان فهقعد امسح بقى الحاجات اللي زي احنا في الامتحانات ما بنعملش كده. Okay, I'll just show you what is the only thing that you can do in exams. الحاجات اللي انا عاملاها دي. Okay, طبعا no highlighters. Okay, so okay, خلاص عملنا التري بتاعتنا. Now let's see the outcomes of and you don't have to write this again. أنا بس عشان بشرح. The outcomes of مين اسمها ايه دي؟ ميلينا are picture and picture. طبعا again this you don't have to write in the exam or picture and number or number and picture or number and number. Okay, so as you can see, she has 4 options. Option 1, option 2, option 3, and option 4. Now, question B here says, work out the probability that the 2 cards Melina takes are both pictures or both cards. بصوا يا جماعة. أنا همسح التري مش شايفاه خالص. انتوا بتتوتروا معرفش ليه. I just want you to translate the keywords literally. يعني translation ترجمة حرفية من غير فلسفة وفزلكة. Okay. Both. The word, I'm going to write the scenario over here. Please write the scenario. And as I always tell my students, بلاش brave heart. وادخل بالأرقام على طول. Write the scenarios first. I know this is a treat. It might be easy, but some questions will not be easy. Work out the probability that both is always changed into first and second. Both is changed into first and second. طيب, what is she going to take? She's going to take both pictures. فهي راحت بتكلم مامتها في التليفون. بتقول لها يا ماما بصي أنا هاخد picture and picture. Both pictures. Oh, this is pure translation of what she said. Or هكتبها زي ما هي من غير فزلكة. Both numbers. لا يا ماما بصي أنا I will not take picture. I will take number and number. Picture and picture, or number and number. What did I do? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I just translated what is written. I'm going to ignore the fact that the tree is there. On the side, I'm going to write the probability of the picture and the probability of the number. The picture can 12 على 52, I guess, huh? And the number was 40/52. Let's see, how do I change my scenario into numbers without looking at my tree? The first is the origin, and the second is the decreased numbers. The second is the decreased. طبعا هنا I cannot أعمل 2 times because they are so different outcomes. احنا بنعمل 2 times when the order is changed. 2 options, 2 brackets, separated by addition, which is my OR. Picture and picture, and then number and number. Probability times probability, probability times probability. Okay, I'm going to highlight so that you know. This is highlighted in yellow because it's the second option, and this is highlighted in green because it's the first. Okay, how do I solve, or how do I write my numbers without looking at the tree? Now, as we said, the first is always the original probability. So the original probability, or the original probability of the picture is 12/52. Okay, the original probability of the number is 40/52. خلاص, we're done with the originals. Now let's move on to the second choice. Since I already know that this question is without replacement, so 2 things happen. The denominator decreases by 1. This is something that must happen for the second choice. And the numerator decreases by 1 if I am taking same item. If I am taking same item. So let's write the second choice, which is highlighted in yellow. The 52 must decrease by 1, so it changes into 51 for the second choice. Now let's look up. Am I taking same item? Yes, I'm taking another picture, so the 12 changes into 11. Now let's move on to the second bracket. Am I taking second item as same item? Yes, because I have chosen another number. So the 40 decreases by 1, it becomes 39. And then I place this on the calculator, and of course, I'm going to confirm these numbers from my tree. على فكرة مش عشان أنا مدرسة فأنا مش بحب أتأكد، بالعكس ده أنا علشان أنا مدرسة بحب أتأكد جدا من حلي. 40/52 multiplied by 39/51. So let's see the numbers. If the numbers بس أنا ما كنتش كاتبة رقم غلط على ولا حاجة على الكالكوليتر. 12/52 multiplied by 11/51 plus 40/52 multiplied by 39/51, and I get an answer of 141 over 221. 141/221. Of course, طبعا this is the number that goes in the dots. ويا ريت يا جماعة no volunteering and changing into decimals والنبي. Keep it like this, and as long as and you will get weird fractions when you're solving probability questions. Don't panic. As long as the fraction is less than 1, you're good to go. Now let's confirm from here. Where are the 2 pictures? Picture and picture, and number and number. So my brackets are يا عم القلم يا ابني فينك. So 12/52 multiplied by 11/51. هكتبها تاني على الكالكوليتر عشان اتاكد. 12/52 multiplied by 11/51. And then where's the second choice? Number and number, plus 40/52 multiplied by 39/51. And then I'll get the same answer. Of course, أنا بس حبيت أوريكم يا جماعة إنه خلاص you need to start not depending on the tree, Now let's take one last example related to without replacement questions. Okay, and you can actually do something. If you have my classified, you can this is in the classified page 193, okay, and 194. So this is a question that's a bit long. You can actually pause the video and work on the question يعني and check your answer بعد كده. Okay, actually I'm going to do this كده عشان احطهم قصاد بعض. Yes, let's see. Okay. Now in a bag اهو in a bag لا خلينا نعملها كده الأول بس. And this is the last question I'm going to do لأنه زي ما اتفقنا there are still I think there will be 2 more videos related to probability or maybe 3 more. We will see. Okay, in a bag there is a total of 20 coins. اهو. So as we said, sometimes if the total is not given, you can just add. 10 coins are 20 cents, 6 are 10, و 4 are 5 cents. يعني 5 قروش و10 قروش و20 قرش. Okay? طيب, so classify the question. طبعا هنا عندي 20 cents. يعني بلاش نخلينا نقول 20 جنيه مثلا. Okay? و10 جنيه و5 جنيه. اهو انا معايا 5 جنيه و10 جنيه و20 جنيه. Write the probabilities immediately. The total is 20, 20, and 20. أنا عندي 10 over 20, 10 20s, 6 10s, and then how many 5s? 4. أهو. طبعا قلنا no simplifying. Don't simplify. Emma takes at random 2 coins from the bag. And this is about what I'm saying. طب يا عم she takes 2 coins of the bag يعني إيه مش فاهمة. Again, she takes 2 coins from the bag doesn't mean that she took them هما الاتنين مع بعض. فما حدش يقول لي مس احنا ليه مش بنعمل التوتال 20 نخليه 18. No. She takes one at a time. She takes one at a time. Okay يا جماعة, please please please. She takes one at a time. Okay. The first, so again, takes 2 from the bag doesn't mean that she took the 2 at the same time. She took one and then followed by taking another one. اوكي, دي حاجه. تاني حاجه هنا بقى ما جابش سيره ان هي رجعتهم. زي ما قلت لكم يا جماعه هنا please. If the question doesn't say, so this is without replacement. هنا ما قاليش هي عملت ايه, بدل ما قاليش تبقى without replacement. زي في الفيديو بتاع variation, if you remember, if you've watched my variation video, direct variation, inverse variation. If the question doesn't say, so it's a direct variation. Okay? So this is without replacement. Okay. Now let's fill the tree, as the tree I guess is خلاص بقى دلوقتي the easiest part. Now as we said بقى خلاص, the first coin is always the original coin. Sorry, the original coin and the original probabilities. أنا عندي 10 عشرينات, 6 عشرات, so 6 over 20, وهنا عندي ايه 4 over 20. And again, all of these trees are in the same garden. All of these trees are in the same garden because I'm using same probabilities, even if I'm decreasing the denominator. Now, as for the second item, أنا همسح بقى ده خلاص. دي الشجرة, وقلنا بقى الكلام ده قبل كده كذا مرة, وهقولها بس تاني آخر مرة يا جماعة. دي النقطة اللي هي طالع منها lines. This is the point in which the branches come out. Now, the sum of every point must be equal to 1. أهو. The sum of the probabilities of the point must be equal to 1. The sum must be equal to 1. Now, since خلاص بقى, I already know that this is a without replacement question. Now, as we said, 2 things happen. The denominator decreases by 1. So for the second choice, all of these fractions have a denominator of 19. All of these questions have a denominator of 19. And then let's see which numerators will decrease by 1. هنقص 1 فين؟ أنا هعمل الهايلايتر الفظيع 20 و 20. فهنقص 1 هنا. وبعدين هنا 10 و 10. فهنقص 1 هنا. وبعد كده هنا عندي 5 و 5. فهنقص 1 هنا. Okay? أهو. I'm going to do it again. So the first outcome, as you can see, طبعا خلاص بقى we did this. So أنا مش هكتب بقى outcomes. I'm not going to write the outcomes over here. But you know the outcomes. 20 and 20. وهنا 20 and 10 and so on. Actually, let's write them down مش هنخسر حاجة. 20 and 10, 20 and 5. وهنا عندي 10 and 20, 10 and 10, 10 and 5. وهنا عندي 5 and 20. طبعا between all of these options, as we said, guys, is always or 5 and 5. Okay. So 20 and 20. So this 10 decreases by 1, becomes 9. what happens to these two? You take the first. You take the original numbers without any changes. You take the original numbers without any changes. Okay, طيب. Let's move on to the second part. اللي هو هنا I have chosen 10 and 10. So this 6 decreases by 1 and becomes 5 over here. طيب, what happens to the 20 and the 5? Absolutely nothing. I take the originals, 10 and 4. And of course, if you add these three, you will get a total of 1. Okay? If you add the numerators, you will get a total of 19. Now for the last part, 5 and 5. So the 4 decreases by 1 over here, becomes 3. What happens to these two? Absolutely nothing. I take the originals. I take the originals. Now, تاني يا جماعة. The sum of these must be equal to 1. The sum of the numerators must be equal to 19. And of course, now we did the tree diagram a whole with my numbers and everything and the outcomes. Now, since بقى خلاص احنا دلوقتي بقى we're getting, I think, a bit advanced with probabilities, let's try and see how do I solve these questions without looking at the tree. أنا كنت عاملاهم 2 pages، لا قررت مش هعملهم 2 pages. Now the question is classified into 20 جنيه. اوكي، بلاش سنت يعني عشان انا صراحة بتحيز لبناتنا لبلدنا. 20 جنيه كان 10 على 20 باين صح؟ 20 cent 20 10 6 4. And then we have the 10 جنيه. البروبابيلتي بتاعتها كانت 6 over 20. And then we have 5 جنيه. أنا وأنا في الجامعة كنت بروح لحد الجامعة والله ب5 جنيه. تمام؟ هنا عندي 5 جنيه كام probability بتاعتها 4 over 20. So 10 over 20 6 over 20 4 over 20. I promise والله كنت بروح وبرجع كمان ب5 جنيه ولا 6 جنيه حاجة زي كده. Okay. So these are the probabilities and I already know that this is a without replacement question والكلام ده كله بتاع. طيب let's see. هنا بقى بيقول لي ايه بقى؟ Work out the probability that Emma takes 5 cents. Let's write the scenario. Please يا جماعة والنبي. Okay, let's write the scenario. Now I'm not going to look at the tree بقى دلوقتي خلاص. Let's write the scenario together. طبعا in the exam you look at the tree definitely. Okay, هنا بيقول لي 2. 2 is always translated into first and second. خلاص, we know the deal. طيب what does she take? She takes 2 5. يعني أخذت 5 جنيه and 5 جنيه. أهو. This is my scenario. أخذت 5 جنيه النهاردة وأخذت 5 جنيه بكرة مثلا for example. Okay, so this is the scenario. Now I change into numbers. I have one option, so I have one bracket. Inside the bracket, 2 numbers separated by multiplication. طب يا miss, do we have to put these brackets? لا, أنا بس عشان بشرح. Now the first, as we said, خلاص بقى, is the original. So what is the original probability of ال5 جنيه? The original probability of ال5 جنيه is 4 over 20. أهو. دي أول 5 جنيه. Now let's look at the second. We know now that for the second, only 2 things happen. The denominator decreases by 1 and the numerator decreases by 1 if I'm taking same item. Okay, so this is the second choice. The second choice is 5 جنيه as well. So كده this 20 changes into 19. Type, and then do I decrease up? Look at the numerator. Look at the outcomes. Am I taking same item or a different item? لا, I am taking same item. So this 4 changes into 3. طب يا miss, can we confirm from the tree? حاضر, let's confirm them from the tree. فين 5 and 5؟ همسح ايه كل الدوشة اللي انا عاملاها دي. معلش يا ولاد انا بس عشان بشرح. بس طبعا انتوا في الامتحان ما تقعدوش تعملوا اللي انا بعمله ده. انا هنا ايه تبقوا organized كده. Okay, let's look at the 5 and 5. Where is the 5 and 5? فينها؟ اهي تحت اهي. 5 and 5. اهو, these are the numbers. 4 over 20 multiplied by 3 over 19. تمام, فاحنا كده شغلنا زي الفل. And then I place it on the calculator. Okay, 4 over 20 multiplied by 3 over 19. On the calculator, I will get an answer of 3 over 95. And again, يا جماعة, this is in the simplest form. This is in the simplest form. لو عايزين تعملوها يعني multiply up لوحدها و multiply down لوحدها مش مشكلة، يعني مفيش أي أزمة خالص. Okay؟ this is the first part. يعني if you wish to do it يعني ازاي، انه عشان لو مش فاهمين انا قلت ايه، لو مثلا نعمل multiplying up لوحديهم يعني 4 times 3 times بعض، okay, which is 12, and then 19 times 20 لوحديهم. انا بس what I'm saying يعني if you wish to do it this way مفيش مشكلة يعني. So both answers are correct definitely. تعالوا بقى نشوف هنا. Work out the probability that the total value of the two coins is 20 or less. ايه بقى اللخبطه دي؟ انا قدامي يا جماعه ايه الكوينز اللي قدامي او ايه الفلوس اللي معايا 5 جنيه و10 جنيه و20 جنيه. طيب دايما فكروا بقى في الحاجات دي بالراحه. 2 coins يبقى I still take first and second. first and second. انا قاعده زهقانه في البيت وحاطه الكوينز قدامي وقاعده بلعب، فانا عايزه 2 coins that sum up to 20 or sum up to a number that is less than 20. طيب sum up to 20. انا عندي اهو 5 جنيه ورقه اهي ب 5 جنيه، في ورقه باين ب 5 جنيه اوكي، وفي ورقه ب 10 جنيه اهو، وفي ب 20 جنيه. ده الورق اللي معايا. انا عايزه اخد 2 يعني ورقتين يعملوا لي sum 20 او اقل. يبقى انا هاخد ايه؟ ودايما يا جماعه whenever you're dealing with probability questions as I told you, think of it as a story and بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Think of it as a story and do it ايه بالترتيب. هو قال لي is 20. مين من دول plus بعض يديني 20؟ مفيش غير 10 and 10. That's it. هو قال لي is 20. انا عايز 2 coins السم بتاعهم يبقى 20، فما عنديش غير 10 و 10. طيب خلصنا دي. or less يعني 2 of these when I add them I get a value that is less than 20. So of course the logic says 5 and 10. Can I change order here? Actually, you must change order here. So it's 5 and 10 or 10 and 5. So these are my scenarios. So again, as we said, يا حبايبي, يعني straight translation of the question, no need to panic. 2 coins. 2 is always translated into first and second. The 2 coins sum up to 20. Don't read this for now. 20, but definitely I will take 2 tens. Or less than 20. Less than 20. So what will I take? 5 and 10 or 10 and 5? 3 options with 3 brackets separated by addition. Inside the bracket, first and second. First and second. First and second. And I'm just showing you how to do it without looking at the tree, and then we will confirm from the tree. Now, as we said, the first is always the original. خلاص بقى, we said this so many times. The second is التقليد اللي هو بينقص. ده ال second. This is the second. أنا ليه عملت دي كده؟ إيه ده؟ This is the second. Okay? مفيش ما يمنع إن إحنا نشتغل بالراحة. Okay? فأنا عندي 10 and 10. وهنا عندي 5 and 10. وهنا عندي 10 and 5. Now let's change to numbers. All the green is the original probabilities يا جماعة. So what is the original 10 أو what is هنعمل الجرينز كلهم. The original 10 is 6 على 20. The original 5 is 4 over 20. The original 10 is 6 over 20. So we did the originals. تعالوا بقى نعمل الجديد السكند اللي هم highlighted yellow. All of the second will definitely have a denominator of 19. All of the second will have a denominator of 19, which is a fact, 100%. Now let's look at the numerator. أنا هنا بقى, will I subtract by 1? Yes. Why? Because I'm taking same item. So this 6 changes into 5. هنا بقى, أنا كنت في المسألة اللي قبلها عملت 20 minus 4 وحطيتها فوق. ينفع هنا أعمل كده؟ إيه رأيكم؟ لا طبعا. ليه؟ لان انا هنا عندي 3 items in my bag. المساله اللي فاتت كان عندي 2 items بس، فعملتها كده على طول بالشورت كت. فهنا لا، you cannot just do it 20 minus 4 and write 16 again. Why? Because I have 3 items. فانا هنا بقى I am taking different item, so I will take the original number of 10. The original number of 10 is 6. اهو. The original number of 10 is 6. نيجي بقى هنا على هنا 10 and 5. Again مش هينفع أعمل 20 minus 6 as I did in the previous question. وزي تاني بقول why did I do it in the previous question؟ مش فاكرة كان السؤال قبليه ولا إيه؟ لأنه I had 2 items only. هنا I have 3 items so I cannot do that. Okay? So I will take هنا, since I am taking a different item, so I will take the original number of the 5. So أنا how many 5s originally do I have? 4. And then, of course, I will place all of this on my calculator and I will get my answer. So let's see. هنا عندي أعملها بقى نحسبها. طيب برضو سؤال. Can I combine these two in one fraction? Yes, I can. Actually, and you can do it now. فأنا I'm just going to write the first fraction as it is. اللي هو 10 and 10. And then I will just combine these two in one bracket, and again the number that is outside the bracket ده معناه قولوا معايا the order changes. Okay, فأنا I can take any of them على فكرة، مش هتفرق لأن if you look the numerators are the same ما اتغيروش. فهعملها بقى دلوقتي on the calculator. 6 times 5 وهنا عندي هحسبها بقى على طول. Okay, this is the first plus 2 open bracket 24 over 19 times 20 على طول كده هنا on the calculator. I think I did something wrong with my answer. هنا عملت حاجة غلط أنا ولا إيه؟ 19 times 2 times 24. I think I did something wrong with my numbers. أنا actually I forgot one more. عارفين بقى what did I forget؟ شفتوا بقى؟ What did I forget؟ لأن هو هنا قال لي 20 and less. شفتوا بقى؟ I forgot. انتوا قولوا. I forgot 5 and 5. شفتوا؟ يعني أنا اللي مدرسة ونسيت واحدة. يبقى أنا عندي 10 and 10 5 and 10 10 and 5 و5 and 5. يا ريت حد يكون لقط بقى الحتة دي معايا. يبقى أنا هنا هزود one more item 5 and 5. معلش نسيتها دي يا ولاد، حقكم عليا. So 5 and 5. Okay, لأن أنا عايزة 20 or less. So I still have 5 and 5. Now برضو let me use the colors. هنا قلنا this is the original and this is the new. نسيتها دي خالص. So again, let's go through the outcomes again. So the outcomes are اللي هم 20 and less. So 20 and so the sum of 20 only, I have 10 and 10. Now as for less than 20, I have 5 and 10, 10 and 5, or 5 and 5. I have 5 and 5. Now the original 5 is 4 over 20. And the second is going to be over 19. And this 4 will decrease by 1. So it changes into 3. عشان كده this question is graded out of 3 marks. Now let's do it بقى now on the calculator. معلش يا جماعة. 20 multiplied by 19 and عندي times 5. And as we said, these two I can combine plus 2 open bracket 4 times 6 على 20 times 19. And then the last bracket is 12 over 20 times 19. Now on the calculator, I will get a final answer of 9 over 38. 9 over 38. شفتوا بقى؟ أنا نسيت دي. نسيتها دي. 5 and 5. فبليز يا جماعة خدوا بالكم كويس قوي when you're عمال تقول write the scenarios. Please, please, please. So again, in this question over here, I'm just going to repeat this part again. Please, 20 and less means I will take 2 items that sum up to 20. So we only have 10 and 10, and 2 items that sum up to less than 20. So I take 5 and 10, 10 and 5, 5 and 5. لأنه برضو when I sum up the 5s, they will add up to less than 20. And if I'm going to check from my tree, عشان كده بقول لكم في الامتحانات يعني بصوا أنا وقعت مني خالص ال 5 وال 5 دي. So these فين؟ لا مش بده. okay. ده هنا كده عندي, let me highlight them. Less than 20, less than 20, less than 20, and then we have equals to 20. Equals to 20. So these are the 4 options that I have in this question over here. Thank you everyone for listening, and I'm so sorry about this يعني fatal mistake that I did at the end. معلش نسيتها دي خالص. Sorry about that. فيا ريت بس حد يكون وانا بعمل في الفيديو خد باله منها. كويس ان انا خدت بالي منها وانا بكمل معاكم. Thank you everyone for listening, and I'll see you inshallah next time with probability part 3. Thank you for listening, and I'm going to see you in the next video. And sorry about the 5 and 5. Yeah. Bye.